Okay, today we are going to start with lesson 3, grammar section. We are going to talk about a new structure which is called subjunctive. Subjunctive is, a new structure which is used to stress the importance of an action or, the urgency of an action. It uses the base form of a verb. Look at the first example. Who can read the first example? Who can read the first example? Uday? Are you here, Uday? Abdullah Amin?
Yes, teacher.
Yalla, Uday, read the first example.
A long dad of blue bones.
Long hair, don't care.
First example.
Yes.
I'm reading from your.
The manager insisted that
The manager
Uday,
Are you
insisted
really
that
working?
he work late.
Yeah, I want to work.
It's,
I go
it's
work with my
important
dad.
I work
that
with my mom, so it's all good.
Well, that's all right because it's only going to take 2 hours.
2 hours of
and
work.
I can come home and I can just take a nap, you know.
No, for that battle.
Okay, the manager insisted that he work late. It is important that you be at the meeting. Now you realize that here we have used, special, let us say, verbs and expressions. The manager insisted. After that, we use the word that. Then we use the base form of the verb. If you remember here, when we have a simple present preceded by a singular, we have to use s with the verb. He works. In this rule, we do not use works. We use work because, here we have to use the base form of a verb. We use the base form of the verb. Look here. It is important that you be at the meeting. It is important that you be at the meeting. We do not say are, you are. No, we say be. We use the base form. Like, the first example, he works. We do not use he works. We use he work. Here, the rule says that we have to use the base form after special or certain verbs like insist, ask, demand, request, required. So we use the subjunctive is with certain verbs. We use it with certain verbs and expressions like, ask, demand, request, etc. The expressions are, it is essential, it is imperative, it is important, it is necessary. So these are the expressions that we use. Look at the form of the sentence. Subjunctive follows, the sentence pattern, verb or the expression, like, the previous one. It is essential, it is imperative, it is important. Followed by that, then, we use the, let us say, the object here, you. Look at the verb, dress, must be in the base form, appropriately. It is essential that you dress appropriately. So here we stress the importance of, the action. We focus on the urgency of an action. Look at the second example. She asked that we not be late. Now, if you want to make negative in the subjunctive, we have to use not. We do not use, for example, we aren't or we do not be. Here we have to use not, before, the base form. Even here we have another structure. If you want to express a desire that someone do something, here we have two common phrases that we use, the I'd like you and I want you. These two expressions must be followed with infinitive. When we say infinitive means to use to plus the verb. So this is about what? The structure. Again, here we have two different structures. The first one is talking about, the how can we stress the importance of an action, and it is called, subjunctive. Here we have to use the base form. After that, look here, base form. We do not use works or working or worked. Here we have to use the base form, the verb without any endings. The manager insisted that he work late. Also, if you want to make negative, the manager insisted that he not work late. Not. If you want to make negative with the sentence, we have to use not. Not he doesn't, or you aren't. No, it is important that you not be at the meeting. If you want to make negative, we use not be, not work. So the subjunctive is used with certain verbs like ask, demand, insist, etc. And this is, the form. It is essential that you hear the verb, again, simple verb, dress appropriately. If you want to make negative, we use not before the verb, the base form. Again, if you want to express the desire that someone do something, we have to use I'd like you or I want you or I'd like you, followed by infinitive. Okay, now look here. Look at this video. 1 minute, please. Okay, Shabab. I think it is clear. Is it clear?
Yes.
Listen.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Listen, please.
Hey guys, I'm Alex. Thanks for clicking and welcome to this advanced grammar lesson on the subjunctive. Now, this is a formal structure that we often use to emphasize urgency or importance. And the subjunctive is a part of grammar that we use after certain verbs or with certain verbs. So I have a list of verbs at the bottom of the board here. We have advise, ask, command, demand, desire, insist, propose, recommend, request, suggest, and urge. And these verbs, when you use them to talk about urgency or importance, how something needs to be done, or you suggest something, they are followed with a certain structure. And this structure is demonstrated on the board for you guys. And again, this is commonly used for advice. So, for example, she suggested that I leave early. Okay, so the subjunctive needs two things. First, you need the subject, right? The person who mentioned whatever it is that the information is. you have the verb, right? Like kind of like the advice verb or the urgency verb or importance verb. So she suggested. We have that. Now that is optional. So I put it in brackets. You can use it or you can not use it. It's your decision. Then you have the person who received the message of importance or urgency. Then this is very important. You have the verb, which is always in the simple form, even in the third person, okay? Now, at first, it might be a little weird. It sounds a little strange, but grammatically, this is absolutely correct. So let's read the sentences and talk about them individually. So she suggested, right, in the past, she suggested that I leave early, okay? So here you have, again, she suggested to me. So she suggested that I leave early. And again, simple verb, right? I recommend that you study hard, the same construction. I recommend to you, right, that you study hard. Next, here we have a third person. So this is the one that might sound a little weird to you in the beginning, since most third person verbs, well, all, sorry for that, guys, all third person verbs in the present simple require an S. Now, in the subjunctive, in this mode, where you're talking about advice or you're emphasizing importance or urgency of something, you don't use the S. You always use the simple verb. So it's important that he come on time, okay? Here you have the verb come. We don't say that he comes. It's important that he comes on time. Grammatically, it should be, it's important that he come on time. Next, finally, we have a negative. If you want to make the subjunctive negative, you just add the word not before the verb. So I propose that we not go there. Not, I propose that we don't go there. Okay? Now, as you noticed, this might sound very formal, right? It is a little formal, and honestly, there are people who do say, I propose that we don't go there. It's accepted in speech. It's accepted in spoken English. Grammatically, though, this is the way you are supposed to say it. Same with a third person example, okay? It's important that he come on time. You will hear native speakers that say, it's important that he come.
Okay, Shabab, you realize that here we have 2 points. You know, the verb must be in, you know, in the first, let us say in base form, without endings. He come, not he comes. And, you know, the second point, which is, you know, the negative. We cannot say we don't go, we not go, okay? These are the 2 points in, you know, the new rule. Okay, you can watch it yourself, okay? Then go back to your box. Go back to your box. Look at the first exercise, exercise A. We are going to rearrange the words and the phrases. Okay, rearrange the words and phrases to form sentences. Look at the example. Asks, I work on the weekend, my manager often that, my manager often asks that I work on the weekend. Who can do the first one? Who can do
Can
the
I
first
answer,
one?
teacher?
Abdullah Amin.
He recommended that he bring his resume to the interview.
Good, very good. Thank you. He recommended that he bring his resume to the interview. Number 2. We can try.
Can I try?
Yes, يلا شريف.
I want
you, yes,
you to tell me about any problems
about
you
any
have.
problems you have. Thank you. I want you to tell me about any problems you have. Number 3. Can try.
Can I answer, teacher?
يلا عبد العزيز.
The doctor.
I think we have to start with it is imperative. It is imperative.
It is imperative that the doctor wash his hands before entering the operating room.
Good. It's imperative that the doctor wash his hands before entering the operating room. You realize here wash doesn't take as we do not say the doctor washes his hands. The doctor wash his hand. Number 4, who can try?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The boss demanded that he not be late again.
Good. The boss demanded that he not be late again. We do not say he doesn't be late. We say not. Not comes alone here, before the verb. The boss demanded that he not be late again. Number 5. Who can try? يا عبد الرحمن موسى. أشرف.
Yes, sir.
Who can try? Ashraf, are you here?
Can I answer, teacher?
يلا.
I insist that if you are not feeling well, you go to home early.
Here we have we have 2 forms. Maybe we say I insist that you go home early if you are not feeling well. Or we can say if you are not feeling well, I insist you go home early. Thank you. So here we have 2 forms, 2 ways of saying the sentence. If you are not feeling well, I insist that you go home early. Good. So try to picture them and move to the next. Picture them, please. Number 6 now. Who can try?
Can I try?
Yes.
I would like you to consider applying for the job.
Good, Nal. I'd like you to consider applying for the job. Good. I'd like you to consider applying for the job. Number 7.
Can I answer?
Yeah, Sharif.
My job counselor just suggested I look for a job in sales.
Good. My job counselor suggested that I look for a job in sales. Number 8. Can try. Read it.
Number 8.
Number 8. It is essential.
It is essential that you not out your job before you find a new one.
Good. Realize here we have the negative not comes, before the verb. Number 9. Who can read? Usaid. Ashraf.
The way.
Yes, Usaid. Number 9. Read it.
The
nurse.
Then
am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
The nurse, the waiting room, the nurse that kept quiet request.
The nurse requests that the waiting room be kept quiet. Good.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
Number.
I'm
Yeah,
action.
number 10. Read number 10, Ashraf.
It is important that race cars drives take the necessary safety precautions.
Good. It is necessary, or it is important that race car drivers take the necessary safety precautions. Good. Okay, picture them and move to the next page, 71. Picture them and, move to the next page. Now here we are going to make sentences about, the pictures. We should use what the subjunctive or I'd like you or I want you plus the infinitive. Look at the example. Look at the pictures. What do you think is being said? Here just we want to make sentences according to the pictures using the certain verbs with the subjunctive or the two expressions, I'd like you or I want you. Here it is essential that we not be late for the meeting. This is about the example. Number 1.
Right,
Who can make? Yes.
I'd like you to cut my hair this long.
Good. I'd like you. I recommend. Good, very good. I recommend you cut your, hair short. This is the barber says. I recommend you cut your hair short. Good. Number 2. Look at the example. I suggest that you try this on. I suggest that you try. Now here we have different answers, but here are the suitable ones. Number 3, it is important that we catch this train. Number 4, who can make a sentence about number 4?
Okay, answer.
Sharif.
I'd recommend you get dentures.
Good. Good, thank you. I recommend. It is essential that you brush well twice a day. It is essential that you clean your teeth. I recommend you use, number 5. Who can make a sentence about number 5?
Teacher.
Uday.
I recommend you to leave smoke.
Good. I recommend you leave, not to. I recommend you leave or stop what? Smoking. Or I want you to stop. Good. I want you to stop smoking. Number 6. I want you to study the new proposal very carefully. And the last, here we have a doctor. I'd like you to take 2 pills every morning. I'd like you to take 2 pills every morning. Okay, do it quickly, please. If you finish, go to your homework in the Classera. Here we have a sheet. We are going to answer it together. Okay.
Teacher,
1 minute.
Just let me to take screenshot.
طيب 1 minute. Okay. Quickly, Uday.
Okay, finish, teacher.
طيب. Now move to your Classera homework.
Teacher, what